Who's watching? Some new concerns about your privacy and how much your actions on social networking sites like Facebook and Twitter are being monitored. The FBI plans to keep an eye on those sites to help track potential security threats. But that's raising a lot of questions. Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge live for us now in Washington. Catherine.
Thank you, John, and good morning. The FBI quietly released these documents seeking new ideas to not only monitor social networking, but ways to integrate this data along with other intelligence streams to identify potential threats. This practice is often referred to as data mining. A former advisor on Homeland Security under the Bush administration says social networking is the way of the future.
I think what you really are looking at is a Google News feed specifically targeted for law enforcement, focusing on their specific needs. In addition to the fact that, we're on our mobile phones and we're on our various iPhones, Blackberries, and the like. All that does transmit data that locates individuals.
Under this proposed program, open source data, this is information in the public domain, can be gathered from sites like Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, and the blogs. And under one scenario, if suspicious information was picked up, let's say on a blog, that information can be cross-referenced with other databases to help identify you, and then that information could be passed on to security cameras in your neighborhood, according to the ACLU.
Even where you're talking about published information, information people intentionally put out there on the internet, we still have a right not to have that monitored by the government. The government really doesn't have any interest in tracking somebody's Twitter account if they're not really doing something wrong or suspected of doing something wrong.
A key question is whether Twitter, Facebook, and other sites would cooperate fully with the FBI on these programs. And we sent a request to Facebook for an interview, and they said that they'd at least get us some kind of response, probably a paper response at some point today, John.
All right, interesting stuff. Catherine Herridge, thanks for bringing it to us.
Oh, Big Brother. Lawmakers today looking into a Homeland Security plan to monitor what you post on Facebook, what you tweet, and what you do on other social media sites, because they have nothing better to do. The feds say that will help protect people and predict potential threats here at home and overseas. According to online requests from law enforcement and intelligence agencies, they're after software that can sift through billions of posts and weed out buzzwords and patterns. The FBI claims that could help prevent terror attacks here in the United States, and it could help track foreign uprisings like the Arab Spring. Catherine Herridge is live in D.C. Of course, this raises very familiar questions with very familiar answers about privacy versus security.
Well, it does, Shep. In addition to a controversial Homeland Security program, the FBI quietly released these documents on the web. The Bureau is trying to develop what amounts to a law enforcement app based on data pulled from these social networking sites. The FBI says the program should have the ability, quote, to quickly vet, identify, and geolocate breaking events, incidents, and emerging threats. A former advisor on Homeland Security under the Bush administration says the new social network raises all kinds of questions.
We've got to figure what is the right balance between privacy and security. And I'm not sure we as a country have really addressed that question. When you're dealing with known foreign terrorist organizations and known jihadi sympathizers and known terrorists, to me that's a cut and dry kind of case.
According to the ACLU, who reviewed the FBI documents for Fox, information pulled from sites like Facebook, Twitter, and the blogs could be cross-referenced with other databases to identify potential threats, even individuals, and that information could lead to more video surveillance in your neighborhood.
Even where you're talking about published information, information people intentionally put out there on the internet, we still have a right not to have that monitored by the government. The government really doesn't have any interest in tracking somebody's Twitter account if they're not really doing something wrong or suspected of doing something wrong.
We asked Facebook and Twitter for comment. We wanted to know whether they would support the FBI program or opt out. We only heard back from Facebook. They thanked us for the question, but they had nothing to add, Shep.
Catherine Herridge in Washington. Catherine, thanks.